Greetings, Skrulls, Kree, Shi'ar, Brood, Dabari, Zenlavians, and Pop-Upians. Welcome back to Movin' Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. Listen, we're running out of episodes. I gotta stick them all in there
Were
somewhere.
those all Marvel
Those are
species?
all,
Is,
yes, those
is
are
that what
all
those
from,
were?
yes, from the Marvel Comics universe.
Great.
And this is the podcast where we watch Muppets from space. Those of us here on Earth 616 watch Muppets from space 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Ryan Rowe.
I'm your other host, Anthony Strand.
And this week we have a first time guest. Hey, guest, please introduce yourself.
Hey, my name's Rhett Safranek. I'm a big Muppet collector and I run an Instagram account called Ribbit Rhett's Muppets.
And if you had to maybe quantify how big a Muppet collector you are, how would you, is there some way you would distinguish yourself in that way?
I'm technically, legally, the Guinness Book World Record holder for largest Muppet collection in the world.
There you go. Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
When was that record bestowed on you?
So I officially got the record. I think the record online it says 2017. It's a long process though.
Hmm.
I probably started it like honestly probably like 3 or 4 years before that. I was pretty young, so like documenting my Muppet collection was a very slow process just after school and stuff. I don't think really many people thought it was going to actually become a record because it's just Guinness takes a long time. It's not like you see in the YouTube videos where they come out and count everything. That costs a lot of money. And to do it yourself is free, but you have to, it's just a lot of documentation.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's cool. Well, so I
Sure.
mean, this is a belated congratulations, but congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thanks for being here. And oh, you also have written an article for Tough Pigs. You wrote an article a few years ago about notable Muppet-related sites that people can visit in London.
Yeah, I wrote that one. I studied abroad in London, and obviously the only reason I went over there was for the Muppets, mainly. And so I did everything I could possibly. I think there's like I missed like the Teddy Bear Museum, which that's like kind of not really in London, it's in England. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it was fun writing that article. And all of the stuff I found was also done by other articles too, but it was just really fun to recover that stuff.
Yeah, sure. And we can link to that in the show notes for this episode. But today we are not in London. We're still on the beach. We're here to talk about minutes 81 and 82. Did I get that right? Yes, 81 and 82 of
Yep.
Muppets from Space, in which the aliens depart and the Muppets sit on the roof. And we pick up here with the Uber Gonzo saying, "Then we shall abide by it." So, it's nice that they are accepting Gonzo's decision. They're not going to force him to get on the ship and go back to their planet with them.
What if they did? What if that's how this ended?
That would be I mean, it would be exciting. It would be something.
Right, but then it's just the end and it's a cliffhanger and we never follow up on it. Because
Ooh.
this movie was a massive failure.
Yeah, it would be like one of those. Of course, I'm drawing a blank now on like a movie where they expected there to be a sequel or a TV show where they
Like
thought there was going to be another season and there just wasn't.
sure, a Buckaroo Banzai or a Mortal Engines.
Right, yeah, where they think there's more coming and then they just never finish the story.
Yeah.
But then I was also thinking, what if he just left with them? Like if he just decided, or if he changed his mind, but if he just decided to go with them and then the next Muppet thing just didn't have Gonzo in it, that would have been interesting.
And then he's just never come back again.
Either
And
that
and
or
and Dave Goles is the longest running member of the troupe, but he doesn't play Gonzo anymore.
I know that would be wild. Or either that or like they do a special or a movie without him. And then in the next one, it would be like Gonzo just a spaceship lands and Gonzo gets out and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm back."
He's just
Yeah,
back
just like
forever.
Very Merry Muppet Christmas. He just lands back in and he's
Right?
back.
Yeah,
And he's
just
like,
out of
Amy the
nowhere.
dancing brick, I've missed you so much.
Yeah, it would be completely tonally incompatible with the rest of that movie, but he would just be like, "Hey, here I am. I decided to come back." Um, yeah, wouldn't that be something? But that doesn't happen. But what does happen in this is that the Uber Gonzo says, "We will miss you. So good luck, Gonzo." And then he and our Gonzo, they don't really shake hands or do a give me five, but they kind of just clasp hands solemnly, just kind of a moment of connection. Then the
And
Uber
then,
Gonzo,
well, no, just, I was going to say, then you're about to say it. The Uber Gonzo says yes, even though the previous statement was he himself saying good luck, Gonzo. And it feels like there's a line cut out or something. Like it feels like
uh,
someone else was supposed to say something. One of the other Gonzos
yeah,
was supposed to say, is he staying or something? You know what I like? I don't know. It feels weird that he's like, good luck, Gonzo. Yes.
it's true. Or maybe there was a little bit of business that was cut out from this that they just decided,
Yeah.
let's trim a little bit here. Yeah. Maybe it's just not working. So, but yeah, then he says, people of Earth later. I like
I
that.
like that.
I like
Yeah.
that.
The
That's a fun we've talked about him being basically Floyd.
yes,
And that's a very good Floyd line.
Hmm.
right. The very grand people of Earth followed by the just like later. Rizzo is very happy with all this, this whole development. Rizzo
Hmm.
says yes, runs over to Gonzo. Just as Gonzo is saying goodbye to the aliens, Rizzo reaches him. He kind of runs and jumps and gives him a hug and knocks Gonzo over. This is sweet. We all love the Rizzo Gonzo friendship. Then the other Muppets also surround Gonzo and they kind of hug him, and there's all these various lines you can kind of hear, just like, oh, Gonzo, Gonzo. They're all just as happy that he's staying. Now, K. Edgar Singer, who is standing on the spaceship, raises his hand and begins to address the crowd. He also says, people of Earth. He says, this is one small step for man and one giant step for. And as he's saying this, the doors of the ship start closing, but then they close completely before he's finished talking. So he says, well, forget it.
Singer is such a loser
Yeah, he really is.
because I mean he really is in general because this is just like he doesn't even get to talk, nobody cares, doors closed.
Yeah.
But also like if he wants to be a spaceman so bad, he should know that Neil Armstrong's famous line is one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, not giant
Yeah.
step. He doesn't say step twice, Ed.
Right. Yeah, it's weird that he gets the line wrong. But although I guess he's kind of looking around uncertainly at the aliens while he's saying it. And I'm not sure if he's doing it because he's trying to remember the line and realizing that he doesn't know it, or if it's because the doors are closing.
Or he's just like getting flustered. Like I think that's what it's supposed to be, is
He's
that
kind of
he's
nervous.
he's like nervous because the doors are closing on him and whatever. Just it's weird that he doesn't say it right.
I was gonna say, did you guys notice when he's starting this line or like kind of in the middle of it, there's like two alien gonzos like just touching noses, like just staring at each other for a little bit, and then like they like break it. I don't know if that was just like I don't know if that was the same person doing it to themselves or if that was just like a random coincidence, but I noticed that. I just thought it was really random.
No, their noses are actually
Let's
touching.
see.
I for at least a second, like very like you can
Oh yeah,
tell like
oh yeah, they totally are. Yeah,
they just like sit there and they look at each other for a little bit and then move
and then
off.
they turn and look at Ed. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's funny. That does seem like one or two puppeteers just kind of messing around, having fun.
yeah. And one of them is the one who looks almost exactly like regular Gonzo and is probably an old Gonzo puppet that
Ah,
we discussed previously.
Mm.
right. Yeah, okay. Um, there is though, like it's kind of been debated whether Neil Armstrong got this line right when he stepped on the moon, because one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. The word man is already kind of used interchangeably, or at least, especially in those days more so, but with the word mankind. So he was probably supposed to say one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. I think at one point he said, or somebody suggested that like there was radio interference, or he really did say a man, but it just didn't come through clearly on the radio thing. So maybe what Singer's doing here is just, he's furthering the tradition of not quite getting this right.
He should have said one small step for Neil. That would have cleared it up.
This is one small step for Neil. My name's not Neil. I'm talking about another guy. One giant leap for, never mind. Forget it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Sure.
Lights flash, engines fire on the ship. The ship takes off again. Once again, the crowd is bathed in light. Everyone is watching it in awe once again. Although this goes much faster than when the ship landed because we've already seen this. A few people wave goodbye. This time now they know that the aliens are friendly. And they're good at musical numbers. So they're just the aliens are nice. The crowd likes the aliens. Now that I've watched that video interview with the guy who was on the model making team for this
Mhm.
movie, I think it was his name Wally Weed. I think it was
I
Wally
believe
Weed.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
believe that's right.
I just have a greater appreciation for the miniature of the spaceship. So it's nice to see it again in this shot.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Anything else to say about the spaceship taking off or, the sequence before we leave the beach?
As a kid, whenever it like zipped away, it always reminded me of like the logo that comes in, like when you're watching a home video of Jim Henson Company it goes bzzz,
Oh,
ding.
right.
Like that little like escape. I mean, it in the logo it loops back around, but in the shot it just goes out. But it always reminded me of that when it goes
Yeah,
out.
I can see it.
that little speck of light zipping around on the
Yeah.
screen. Yeah, you're right. Huh. But Rhett, you mentioned something about the material of the Gonzo's costumes
Oh yeah, yeah,
before
yeah.
we started recording.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, a couple, probably last year, it started popping up, but a lot of these fabric swatches from Muppets from Space started coming up on eBay, and I've gotten a
Mhm.
couple of them from since they were, coming up for sale, and one of them was a couple of these aliens, like their costume, like reference material, and then also just some pictures. But that kind of bubbly material you see in their fabric, kind of either on like just anywhere on their costume, they kind of put it in different ones on different aliens. But it's kind of like a spandexy material that's really stretchy, and then those like
Hmm.
bumps are kind of like almost like just embossed into the on top, and like it's really interesting material. I was gonna grab it out, but it's kind of tucked away. I'm moving,
Hmm.
but it's a very spandexy material. You don't really notice it if you like overlook the aliens quick, but it's really nice fabric.
Yeah, that's cool. So whatever it is, like we don't. I mean, I wouldn't have known that that's what it looks like exactly, but it does look like it's not an everyday material, obviously. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's really yeah.
yeah, that's very cool. It does look kind of spacey, I guess, or space age.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really cool. So and yes, then the ship flies away. Eventually, it's not even a speck of light in the sky anymore. There's just the sky is all we see. And then the camera tilts down to reveal the roof of the Muppet boarding house. We're no longer at the beach. We're somewhere else.
Finally,
Finally. How long
finally,
have we been at this beach? So,
1 million hours.
yes. We're back at the Muppet boarding house. Our Muppet friends are all sitting in a row next to the fish weather vane. We got Pepe, Rizzo, Gonzo, Kermit, Miss Piggy, Fozzie Animal, Clifford, Beaker, and Bunsen, the
Mhm.
classic gang. I wish I could remember who first said this, but I've heard a Muppet fan suggest somewhere that this moment is reminiscent of the sitcom Third Rock from the Sun, which was
Oh, sure,
about,
where they always sit on the roof. Yeah.
right, yeah, it was about aliens on Earth disguised as humans, and they would often conclude with the aliens sitting on the roof at night looking up at the sky, kind of talking about what they've learned about Earth. So that seems like maybe intentional here.
Yeah, and that show we should note was currently on when this movie came out.
That's true,
Like
right?
the show ended in 2001, so it
Yeah,
was in the middle of its sixth season run at this time.
there you go. Wow, 6 seasons, huh?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
You thought fewer? You would have guessed
I
fewer
would have guessed four for some reason, but good for them.
because Mork and Mindy ran for 4 and Elf ran for 4.
Oh, okay. So 4 seasons is the standard for aliens on Earth
That's
sitcoms.
that's the Alien. My favorite Martian only did 3 though, Ryan. So what
How
do we do
many
with
was the
that?
Neighbors? Less than that, probably.
Two. Neighbors
Only
did two.
two. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah, and it's the longest running Alien show, sitcom. There's other
Yeah. Right.
dramas. Obviously, the X Files was on for considerably longer, or
Well,
whatever.
sure, but that wasn't about the aliens, really.
What if the X Files? What if Mulder and Scully met Dick, Sally, Harry, and
Oh, that would have been
uh,
fun, actually. I
Tommy?
mean, they were on different networks,
They were
but
on different networks. That's true.
that would have been, they did that Cops crossover episode. Have you ever seen that?
Of the X Files?
Yeah,
No, I haven't.
where it
That's
starts
it.
as an episode. It was one of the later seasons, but it starts as an episode of Cops,
Yeah.
and like something really weird is happening that the cops are looking into, and then Mulder and Scully show up. Yeah, it's fun.
We've I'm sure we've talked about this, but that's a show that I have enjoyed when I have watched it, but I have never like gone back to do the whole thing.
Yeah,
And I think I would have a good time with it, but
yeah,
also I wish I had done it 20 years ago. Like I
sure, right.
I, I wish I had watched all of the X-Files in college. You
Yeah,
know?
that would have been the
Right.
ideal time, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, speaking of college, I took a TV criticism class in college, and the teacher showed the class that episode, but didn't show the opening credits. So most people hadn't seen the episode before, so they just assumed that it was an episode of Cops because it's shot that way. And then Mulder and
Sure.
Scully show up, and it was just like, yeah, everybody gasped and it's like,
That's
wait a
awesome.
minute, what is this? Yeah, so
Love that.
yeah. Anyway, Gonzo says, "What a great day. That was probably the best day of my whole life." So there you have it. After feeling like he was at his lowest point, he was so lonely,
Yeah.
so alone in the world. Now he realizes how lucky he is. He has all these friends. So there we go. Kermit, ever the supportive friend, is going, mm-hmm, and hmm. That's just the kind of guy Kermit is. Gonzo says, "There's just one thing I still don't understand." Kermit says, "What's that, Gonzo?" And Gonzo says, "Why did they ask me to build a jacuzzi?" Pepe and Rizzo turn to look at each other, and Pepe chuckles. And I really like that there's not a dumb wisecrack here from either of them. There's not even a cut to a close up of the two of them snickering or joking. It's just, we get it. We just know what's happening
Yeah.
here. And then that's all they need.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say is that I like that it's just Kermit and Gonzo talking here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's elegant, I think.
Yeah.
Also, Steve Whitmire and Dave Goelz have kind of been shepherding the Muppets through the 90s. And it's kind of nice that they usher us out of the 90s as the only two to speak in the final scene. I don't know.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you count Pepe laughing. But
Right. I guess so, but he doesn't. Yeah.
now, yeah. And
He
now
doesn't
Bill
say
Beretta
much.
laughs us into the 2000s.
That's right.
Is there something there? Maybe? I don't know. Into the 21st century. Um, so, but the movie's not. So this is the end of the story, but the movie's not over yet because now we have these kaleidoscope credits. These are very cool.
They are. I agree.
As a kid, I don't think I ever understood that there was actual Muppets in the kaleidoscope until I was like far older. And then I was like, oh, wait, I think all these I don't know why, but I never noticed it. I don't know if it's because I skipped over the credits or what, but as a kid, I don't think I ever knew that there was Muppets like kaleidoscoping into each other.
Right.
I
Really.
never realized that.
So
My
yeah.
my kids are like obsessed with this. Every time we watch this movie, they're just like shouting out who's who.
Well, that's the thing. It's fun to watch because behind each credit is the face of a Muppet, but it's like as if you're looking through a kaleidoscope and it's constantly moving, so it's distorted, and then you kind of have to keep watching to figure out who it is. And
Hmm.
in some cases, you kind of like, wait, who is that? So the first one here is the Swedish Chef. That's pretty obvious.
Well, I wonder if so. Swedish Chef is over Tim Hill's credit,
Yes.
which makes me wonder if the Swedish Chef, who does not feel like an obvious choice to go first, if he's a favorite of Tim Hill's or something, and that's
Uh,
why he's over the director credit. I don't know. I could not find any evidence that that's the case, but just feels like you would start with Kermit or Gonzo, right? Like I don't know.
or yeah, Gonzo in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he just said, I want the Swedish Chef under my name. Yeah.
Hmm.
Is
Uh,
is Gonzo? I'm sure is yeah. I'm sure they save a lot of those characters for who they were like being performed by. Because is Gonzo behind Dave's later on in this thing? I'm sure.
I don't remember. We'll find out next week, I guess.
True. Yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna
we're
say. I was like, it's
gonna.
not this week, but I can't remember.
We haven't watched that clip yet, so yeah, we'll get to it. And then yeah, right before this 2 minute clip cuts off, I think the second one is Kermit, but I honestly couldn't tell for sure. Does this look like Kermit?
Let's see.
No, he's
I thought I
green.
saw his, weird eyeballs,
Let's see.
but
Kermit's weird eyeballs. Yeah, that is Kermit. Yeah, that's Kermit's mouth.
okay.
Yes, definitely.
He's wearing, what is he wearing though? It doesn't seem like he's wearing
He
a
looks
Oh,
kind of
it's
like
his
he's
typical.
wearing
pajama.
his bathrobe from the start of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. So that made it a little harder to tell because usually, he's not naked as Kermit normally is,
Yeah.
and he's not wearing an outfit
Yeah,
that we typically associate with Kermit.
yeah, but the plaid, the checkers, I think suggest his bathrobe.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I mean, when I think of a Muppet who wears plaid, I would think Angus McGonagall, but he's not in this movie. So it can't be him. Although that would
Great.
be what
He
what
could
a
have
thrill for
easily made an
fans.
appearance on the beach. He could have easily been on the beach.
That would have been
Yeah.
great. Would have been great. He's
Yeah.
from a sci-fi episode, the Star Wars
Yeah.
episode. So
That's true. Yeah.
Probably a big fan nowadays.
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Why did they should have thrown Angus McGonagall? Do we know whatever happened to that puppet? Has it ever been in a museum or did it
I've never
turn to
seen it
toast years
anywhere.
ago or
Yeah, I've never seen him.
He
Yeah.
he's not made of a material that I would have assumed would have turned to toast, so I'm sure he's around somewhere.
hmm. I wonder if we could find out. Yeah, so as the kaleidoscope is happening, we got the credits, directed by Tim Hill. We talked about him at the beginning of the season. If you go back and listen to the first episode of the season, you can hear Anthony's ranking of every film in Tim Hill's filmography. So if you haven't heard that, go back and listen to it. Next, we have, well, Rhett, any particular thoughts on Tim Hill's filmography?
I didn't know anything on Tim Hill. I looked it up, and he has some fun movies in there. Not there's only like probably one that I've probably ever like actually really enjoyed in my life, and it was Alvin and the Chipmunks. But uh,
Nice.
the other ones that I mean they're notable.
I think was Max Keeble's Big Move your number two or three, Anthony?
I think I had Max Keeble at two. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Max Keeble's big move. I think it's fun. I think it's a
Okay.
really, it's silly.
Uh,
It's just like a not gross out middle school romp. I don't know.
sure. Still
I like
haven't
it.
seen it. One of these days,
I'm
maybe.
telling you, War with Grandpa's the one you
I
got to
know
see.
that is the one I keep thinking about inviting nephews over to
You
watch
got
that
you
with
got to
me.
show those nephews the
I
war.
think
You gotta enlist those nephews.
in the War with Grandpa. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Next we have written by Jerry Jewell and Joseph Mazzarino and Ken Kaufman. And it is the word and, not an ampersand, which, if I have this correct, indicates that the three of them each worked on the screenplay separately. An ampersand would indicate that they worked on it together. We have talked about Jerry Jewell many times on this podcast. He's a brilliant writer, and when people talk about how great the Muppets are, a lot of times they're talking about great stuff that Jerry Jewell wrote. Joey Mazzarino, I think we just talked about the for the first time, like about a year ago when we talked about the Muppet Treasure Island sing-along video.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, Sesame Street head writer for many years and performer. Done a lot of stuff with Sesame Street and the Muppets. Ken Kaufman. I don't think did we even mention Ken Kaufman when we talked about this movie early on, Anthony?
I I don't think we did. And I just looked him up. Did you? I assume you looked up his filmography too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He had quite a strange career just a varied career as a screenwriter.
Well, and why does he only
Uh,
have eight writing credits on IMDb? And one of them is The Expendables 2, and another one of them is The Expendables 2 deleted scenes.
that's weird.
How does that happen?
I would imagine if he, because there's many his credits are across approximately 20 years.
Hmm.
So I would guess he was writing things that didn't get made. He
Right.
was like doing like doctoring or punch up work on other scripts that he's not
Yeah,
credited on.
I think
That
that's
seems to
probably
be
right.
very common. for a working screenwriter. But yeah, can I say what his credits are that he's credited on
Yes,
besides
please.
Expendables 2 deleted scenes?
Yes.
In the Army Now, starring Pauly Shore.
Hmm.
Space Cowboys, the Clint Eastwood and Friends Go to Space movie.
Another space movie.
Yeah, Ron Howard's The Missing with Kate Blanchett and Tommy Lee Jones, also of one of the Space Cowboys, Tommy Lee
Oh
Jones.
yeah.
Expendables 2. Oh, sorry, I skipped it. Before that, the 2005 Curious George animated movie,
Hmm.
the one where Will Ferrell voices the man with the yellow hat. And that's it, right? Did I miss one? Did I skip one? I think that's all.
No, that's well, and a TV show called Stick with Me. Stick with Me, Kid. Stick with Me, Kid.
Was that a pilot that didn't get picked up?
It was like I think 4 episodes of that.
Let's
So,
see.
but I'm not
British
familiar with
television
that show.
series aired on the British television series that aired on the Disney Channel in 1995. Wow,
Yeah, I don't know.
that's really something. Huh.
So, of those movies, the only one that I've seen, yeah, is Space Cowboys. And I
Yeah, I mean,
remember liking that one well enough.
I saw In the Army Now as a, middle schooler because I
Hmm.
we were a big Polly household.
Yeah.
Derek and I especially were all in. I have not revisited most of those Polly Shore movies.
My wife
I'm
and
sure they're
frequent
bad.
podcast guest Stacy was a big Pauly Shore fan, like probably junior high age. She can quote a few lines from Pauly Shore movies. Maybe I'll have her um, record one of them and I'll insert it into the podcast right about here, just to amuse myself.
Mr. Morgan, if you're edged 'cause I'm wheezing on your grindage, just chill. 'Cause if I had the whole Brady Bunch thing happening over at my pad, I'd go grind over there. So don't tax my gig so hardcore, Cruster.
But so yeah, I'm sure she has seen In the Army Now more than once, but I never have.
That's fine.
But yeah, Ken Kaufman. So yeah, and I guess he's got range. So you can call him in to do your thriller with Kate Blanchett and Clint Eastwood, or you can call him in to rewrite your Muppet movie,
Right.
or write your Curious George movie. So yeah, I don't know. But Muppet Wiki also notes that he worked on a project called Only Human. Did you read this?
Yeah, I saw this
Mm-mm.
on my book. Yeah.
Yeah, Only Human was a screenplay in development by the Jim Henson Company and Columbia TriStar in 2001. Written by Ken Kaufman, the concept was an inversion of the Superman mythos. A human family, convinced that the Earth is doomed, send their baby into space for safety. The child lands on a planet where everyone else possesses superpowers.
Huh. All
So
right.
that would have been an interesting movie to see.
Yeah.
But like many Henson Company projects, it never happened.
Yeah. Right.
But I'd be curious to read that script. I don't know if it's out there floating
Yeah.
around somewhere. But so yeah, that's Ken Kaufman. The next credit is produced by Brian Henson and Martin G. Baker. I think we've talked about both of these guys quite a bit.
Now, our previous movie, Muppet Treasure Island, was directed by Brian Henson and featured a Stein in the likeness of Martin Baker.
Oh, that's
So
right.
that's right. So then we have definitely discussed them both.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't know who the Stein was at first, right? We had to be educated on
No,
that.
but yeah, on Muppet Wiki, it's listed as Martin Baker Stein.
Martin Bakerstein. Yeah,
Mhm.
good. Any thoughts on Brian Henson or Martin G. Baker, Rhett?
No, Brian Henson's really nice though. I've got the opportunity to meet him and he's a great guy, but that's all I have to know.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Nice.
cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and then as far as I could keep track of, that's where these minutes end. Actually, you know what? There's a song, and I forgot to write down anything about the song, so I guess we'll cover the song next week because
Sure.
I forgot to take notes on it. So stay tuned.
It's also a song we've already heard in the movie. It's Shining Star.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
it's
plays
Shining
plays
Star.
when Gonzo goes into space and meets the cosmic
Yeah.
drift.
Okay, it's
So,
Shining Star again. So see previous episode for information about Shining Star.
right.
Good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's where these 2 minutes end. So anything else on these 2 minutes? Rhett, starting with you.
I do. Am I allowed to go in depth a little bit about something?
Sure.
Not like anything crazy, but so when they're sitting on the roof, back to when they're on the roof, I was just looking, and I don't know why, but I was really curious if they were actually facing south. I don't know why, but I just wanted to see. Most likely, I mean, I think I'll talk about this later, but it was on a soundstage, I'm sure. It wasn't actually on the roof of that house,
Yeah,
I'm sure, right? Is that what you guys would think too?
I would think no way.
I
Yeah.
would think, yeah, especially
Yeah.
because they have to have all the puppeteers lined up,
Yeah.
sticking their hands up through that roof.
They did replicate that roof very, very accurately, except for a couple things that I noted. Because I was really worried if they, I was really wondering if they were actually on the roof, and everything matches in general. Like the panels on the roof matches, like all of the different angles that they're showing in the background match perfectly,
From the
except
real house that we saw before?
yeah, well, from the exterior shots that we're seeing in front of
Yeah,
like
okay.
brick house and stuff, it really matches well, except for like so in the front, like the bottom left corner of the shot, when you see those little wood panels, uh, it's supposed to cut off. It's supposed to have one panel untouched and then one that cuts off. It's all like just stupid stuff,
Huh.
but it's slightly different in that regard. So that's where I was seeing that. But I was looking into the house more because Muppet Wiki talks about the house. I know you guys mentioned it in the brick house, like the first episode. But I just wanted to look into it because what I do for work is I work as a property appraiser. And so
Mm.
for the brief moment that the Muppets will ever cross over into my line of work, I just wanted to look at it, just like all the public data that they had over there in New Hanover County over in North Carolina. But it's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath house, but there's no basement. Obviously, this was all filmed on a soundstage, but that's inaccurate to the actual house because Muppets from Space, obviously, there is a basement.
Oh.
That's
So
true.
one thing I thought was really interesting though is the house was bought. There was a purchase of the house on June 22nd, 1998. So like right before the filming of this started, which
Hmm.
I just thought that was interesting because filming started what November of 98, and so I just thought that was very interesting that it was just so close. And then that person owned it until like 2002, but it's since changed a couple times. But there was also a permit filed July 1st, 1998 for $9,000. And I don't know if that had to do with just upkeeps of right when they purchased the house or if that was like Henson Company stuff. I have no idea because I can't see that. Uh,
Hmm.
Huh.
but it was originally purchased in 1998 for $70,000. The 2026 appraisal value is $400,000.
I was gonna say it cost $70,000 to buy the
Yeah,
house.
that's what
Huh.
I was like, wow, that's
That's
crazy.
wild. Yeah.
So yeah, the Muppets are facing, as you can see on the little like thing on the roof with the fish, they are facing south or like southeast. And so I just thought that was interesting. I just wanted to check to make sure that was accurate, just because even though it doesn't matter, I just thought it was interesting. And I thought it was interesting that Miss Piggy's the only one to change outfits on the roof, which makes sense.
It
It's
does.
it's just
Ah.
it's notable. She's wearing pink, and the last time we saw her on the beach, she was wearing like that purple outfit that we've seen her in. And I don't know if that was maybe just a color thing. I don't know, but it's interesting that she's the only one to change outfits.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, but like you say, she absolutely would be the one.
Yeah, it
As
makes
soon as
sense.
they get home, yeah, she would say, yeah, time for me to change. Yeah. Huh. Wow, cool. That's great stuff. Thanks. Yeah, and who needs Neil deGrasse Tyson when we have you here to tell us that they're facing the accurate direction
It, it
in the
doesn't
night
matter, but
sky?
my buddies at work over in the Eagles Nest will probably appreciate that I was accurate with it.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Anthony, anything on these 2 minutes?
Yes. So, as we mentioned, Kermit and Gonzo speak on the roof, and Pepe chuckles. But on the beach, when Gonzo decides to stay, Piggy says, "Oh." And then when the ship takes off, Piggy says, "Whoa." And when Gonzo's going to leave, Fozzie says, "Oh, Gonzo." And then again yells, "Gonzo."
Hmm.
Those brief utterances in this scene are the last time we're going to hear Frank Oz in this podcast, going
Uh,
chronologically. Like if we
oh,
loop, we've discussed looping back and doing Sesame stuff. So in that case,
yeah.
we'll hear him again. But the next time we see those characters on this podcast, it will be in It's a Very Eric Grinchy Jacobson Moulin Rouge movie.
Right.
And so this is our farewell to Frank Oz for moving right along for now.
Yeah.
And that's weird.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
because go ahead.
I just had not thought about that, but yeah.
Right, because he did a few talk show appearances and things like that
Hmm.
over the next few years, but basically by 2001 he's out.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the next projects we're going to cover are from 2002. And
Huh.
the next one is Kermit Swamp Ears, which these characters are not even in, you
Yeah.
know.
Right.
So yeah, this is that's a wrap on Frank Oz.
Well,
Goodbye. Thanks for being good at
thanks.
your job.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Frank Oz, for giving us like some of the moments in these movies that we have been most delighted to talk about, for sure. And I guess, we probably won't be covering Judge Boing Boing on this podcast,
No, I
because
don't
I don't
think
think
so.
it fits our, the criteria.
Eventually, when it gets a movie deal by that time, we'll probably
If it
try
turns
it.
Well,
into
right,
a Henson movie or a Muppet movie, but no,
right.
huh?
And
Yeah,
and
wow.
and and of course we do hear him as the Snouts in Muppets 2011. I'm sure someone will point that out. But
Oh, okay.
that's our archival footage, of course. It's the
Right,
recording
right,
from the
right.
Muppet Show
An
album.
existing recording. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm glad you noticed that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, well, I have first of all, one update on an item from a previous episode when we talked about the scene where Bubba tells Rizzo he's got Moxie. I brought up the soft drink Moxie, and I noted that I had never tried it, but I'm always up for trying a novelty soda or an old-fashioned soda or a craft soda. So I said I would try it if I ever found it. Recently, I was at a candy store that also sells a bunch of kind of gimmicky and old-fashioned sodas, and they had Moxie. So of course, I had to buy a bottle of Moxie, and I am here to report that it's pretty good. It's I would say like it's not really like root beer, but maybe like a distant cousin of root beer. It kind of reminded me of birch beer, if you've ever had that, which
Sure.
is kind of a
Yeah.
few steps removed from root beer. A little bit of an aftertaste, but I think if I had more of it, I would get more used to it, and I would have more of it because it was pretty good. Like, kind of sweet, syrupy, but I don't mind that. I could see how a few people, like, if you don't like drinks that are really sweet, maybe you wouldn't like Moxie, but I like things that are very sweet. So I liked Moxie, and I would drink it again. So that's my report on Moxie. Thank you for listening to my soda podcast.
We
Um,
call it I'm from North Dakota. We call it a pop cast.
Yeah, we call it pop.
I'm outnumbered here
Yeah,
by
man. That's right.
two
Rhett,
pop guys.
where are you from again?
I'm from Nebraska.
Oh, nice.
And I
Okay.
will say
Great.
it's pretty divided where I'm at. Like I'm
Sure.
sure it's people would argue that that's not a entire Nebraska thing, but I'm from like country Nebraska, so like
Sure.
it's all pop there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm from North Dakota, so it's all country, and it's
Yeah.
it's traditionally pop. Um, but Ryan, do we want to talk about our recent pop related experience that we had together?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
We were at the Wisconsin Dells and we visited the Root Beer Museum.
The Root Beer Museum. Yeah. I would recommend that for sure.
Yeah, it's tiny and it's mostly just different root beer cans and bottles on display, but there's like hundreds of them.
But there's
And
also like a guided, it's a self-guided tour. It's, like you say, it's pretty small, but
yeah,
you
it was
just
great. It was delightful.
yeah,
To be clear, it was delightful.
you read the signs and it's a history of root beer. I learned about I'm a read all the signs when I go to a museum kind of person. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I learned about root beer and I don't want to give things away in case people want to go to the root beer museum, and you should. But
Right. Should go at the shout out to our new pal Reed at the Root Beer Museum.
oh yes, this was great, and we can get to that in a second too. But yeah, for example, I learned that Sonic, the drive-in, which I go to frequently, started as just a root beer stand. So I find that very interesting because I
Hmm.
go to Sonic to get cherry limeades and burgers and tater tots, but they started out just selling root beer. I think
Just
that's
selling root
interesting.
beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have also a tiny screening room that shows root beer commercials from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, like
And
12 minutes of root beer commercials on a loop. That was great.
Yeah, and one of them had Mr. T in it.
Yes, that was fun. Yeah, we were there with our friend Johannes, who has been on this podcast many times. And we started, and Joe very generously bought us a flight of root beer to drink as we went through the museum.
He sure did.
And our friend Dan, who I guess could be on this podcast, he would certainly
Maybe
be welcome.
someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy who was like such a fan of root beer that he opened a root beer museum, this guy Reed, was amazed to learn that there are Muppet fans in the world.
Yeah, although he was clearly like a guy with fond thoughts towards the Muppets.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he kept being like, "Oh yeah, I loved Sesame Street as a kid. Oscar the Grouch, man, or whatever."
Yeah, as we were there chatting with him, he started reminiscing about his favorite Sesame Street bits. So
Yeah.
it was a very nice moment of connection, but it was just funny that there was a moment when he said, "Wow, Muppet fans, I can't believe it." And then Joe said, "Root beer fan, I can't believe it."
Yeah, that
So
was great.
it was, yeah, everybody is an enthusiast about something, and that's kind of beautiful.
Yeah,
So the Root Beer Museum in Wisconsin Dells, we highly recommend it.
for sure.
Um, so meanwhile, I have some screenplay draft stuff. In the 2/27/1997 draft of the screenplay, when Gonzo announces his decision to stay, the Uber Gonzo says, "Wisely chosen. I bestow upon thee Gonzarian sainthood and a funny hat." And then he puts a funny hat on Gonzo's head. So I
Huh.
like that. I like funny hat
I
comedy.
Sure, I just feel like saying "and a funny hat" out loud is a little, that feels very like you want to change that. He can like give it a title, right? Like he should call it like a ceremonial hat. And then it's
Ooh,
funny because
yeah.
it's a funny looking hat, not because the guy says this is a funny hat, you know.
Yeah. Would you say it's a hat on a hat to do that
I think
joke?
it would. I think it would. I would say that that's a hat on a hat.
Yeah, you're probably right, but it's just as well.
Yeah.
And then do you remember that in the earliest draft, there was a strange series of events that led to the Muppets moving into a giant mansion?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in
Fozzie won the lottery or something, right? Something like that. It was like
Gonzo met somebody who was trying to sell a comic book to pay a parking meter, and then the
right.
comic book
Yeah,
was worth a
yeah.
lot of money. Anyway, um,
Yeah, strange.
so in the same draft, the Uber Gonzo offers to grant Gonzo a wish, and Gonzo asks to have their old house back just the way it was. But when they go back, all the furniture is now 6 inches tall. So there's a scene where the Muppets are just wandering around their house and all the furniture is 6 inches tall. Anthony and Rhett were just giving me blank expressions. So
Huh?
yeah.
Interesting. I would have liked to seen that. I don't know how much I would have cared for that. We'll grant you a wish. I think I don't know. I think
Well,
it's a
yeah,
little off.
it's not really consistent with what the aliens have
Yeah.
been doing up to
Yeah,
this
I
point.
wouldn't have liked that, but it would have been a funny scene back in the house. But yeah, that
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
wish part would have been really, really odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then the 6 inch furniture carries over to the next couple of drafts, but without the mansion and without the wish granting. But that means it kind of doesn't make as much sense, although there is a plot point where the Muppets' friends, John and Barbara Mallet, decide that they can tell the aliens are getting closer because they're measuring their furniture every day and it's getting smaller. So I guess that's kind of the justification for that. And then speaking of the Mallets, in the 5/26/1998 draft, there's this quick scene as the spaceship flies away where the Mallets and Bubba and the other rats are seen hanging out in the ship. So
Hmm.
they got to
Oh,
go, fly back to the aliens' home planet with them. So that's kind of a nice little ending for them. And then there would have been a post-credit scene in those early drafts. We would have seen Gonzo back talking to Noah, but this time he would tell Noah, "I now know that I can stay and flourish in this land, and so I no longer need to sail away with you on your ark." And then Noah says, "It's a good thing. I've got other problems here." And then Noah's Ark is revealed to be 1 foot tall,
Huh.
like the furniture that was so small.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, there you have it.
Uh,
That's unnecessary, but
Yeah.
it would kind of be nice to have a bookend of Gonzo talking to Noah again. I think, although as our recent guest Jennifer Garland pointed out to us, Gonzo deciding not to get on the spaceship is in fact a bookend to Gonzo wanting to get on Noah's Ark. So maybe
yeah.
that would be redundant.
Mhm.
And then finally, in the 11/25 1998 draft of the screenplay, there is actually another beat to the scene on the roof. After Gonzo says he doesn't understand why they asked him to build a jacuzzi, Rizzo says, "You know, that's the beauty of life. The little unanswered questions, the mysterious mysteries." Pepe says, "He's right, okay? Listen to him. He makes good sense." Rizzo says, "Why is the sky blue? Why are Pepe's whiskers called antennae? Why is John Glenn sitting on the roof with us?" And then all the Muppets turn, all the Muppets turn and look at the astronaut John Glenn, who is sitting there with them in an orange NASA jumpsuit looking through a telescope. And they all say, "John Glenn." And John Glenn
Great.
says, "Yeah, it would have been."
John Glenn says, Kelly?
And they say Dorothy. No, it would have been fun to see John Glenn in this movie.
It sure would
He
have. Yeah.
he says, "Gonzo, do you think I'm too old to be a human cannonball?" Gonzo says, "No, sir, not as long as you have friends who believe in you." John says, "I've got friends like that. Will you talk to your friends?" Gonzo says, "Yes, sir, just let me get on my lawnmower and tell them you're interested." And then he says, "Just kidding." So I don't really understand this. I guess
No.
the
I
yeah.
liked that bit until they started conversing. It would have been just good to just look over and and have it just quit there.
Yeah.
I
Agreed.
don't know if I like
Yes.
the dialogue after that.
Yes, you're right. Just why is John Glenn here? And then show John Glenn and then the end. Yeah, that would have been much better.
That would have been
Yeah.
hilarious. I think that would have been funny. I don't know if I would have ever liked that dialogue. It's a little corny in my opinion.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
clunky.
I mean, I don't really understand what it means. Like, is he asking Gonzo to put in a good word for him with the Muppets so he can be a human cannonball in their
I
show?
think, is it
I think
the
he's talking,
aliens
yeah, I think
who
he's talking
fired
about the
Gonzo out
alien
of a cannon?
because Gonzo got shot out of a cannon and then he communicated with them with the
Oh,
long.
yeah.
So I'm thinking that's like a callback from how Gonzo got them to come to Earth, I guess. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
not as long as you have friends who believe in you. I've got friends like that. Will you talk to your friends? Let me get on my lawnmower. Okay. Okay, right. So, like, Gonzo's going to contact the aliens again and tell them to come back so John Glenn can be a human cannonball
yeah.
with
Yes.
the aliens. Okay. But, yeah, no, that's too much.
Are you
That's
there looking for a human cannibal?
right. Yeah, he would get up off of that thing again. Yeah, no. Um,
Oh,
but,
that reminds me, a quick little interjection. That puppet right there, the Gonzo on the lawnmower, I actually have a piece of that Gonzo.
oh,
Um,
really?
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Great.
yeah. The guy that refurbished it for to sell on a prop auction. Had the piece with him, and I bought it off him. So,
Wow. You have so
That's
many cool
cool.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And then, as I think I mentioned a couple episodes ago, this is also probably the reason they thought of this, other than the fact that he's just a very famous astronaut, is that the year before this movie came out, John Glenn was in the news again because he had returned to space at the age of 77. So,
Right. So that's why he asked if he's too old to be a
am
human
I?
cannon.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so that's kind of it for the screenplay drafts. I actually will have more notes on this particular draft because we got it kind of late. So stay tuned because there's more
Mm.
episodes of this podcast coming. So keep an eye and an ear out for that. Rhett, we have two questions that we are asking every guest this season. The first one being, what is your history with this movie?
So, so I was born 2002, grew up on the Muppet Show first, and then branched
Oh,
out. To be honest, I kind of think I watched like I watched all Jim Henson era first. I mean, I it's hard to tell though because I had all of them as a kid, but don't remember liking like Carol, Treasure, or Space until like a little bit later. So I maybe I watched them kind of after all the Henson stuff, but I grew up on it to an extent. Gonzo was always my favorite character, so the movie was always pretty good to me as a kid. Also, I think you guys have touched on it, but like Manhattan in Space is like the only movie a random person at my school would have ever have watched. And I always thought that was so weird. They'd be like, "Yeah, that one where they're all in space," or the one, "Oh, that one where they're in New York." And I'm like, "Oh, well,
Huh.
yeah." And I think that's just because they were always on, like they were always like playing on TV or something, or that, or they were just like in stores, maybe more. I don't know, but yeah. So weirdly enough, a lot of people knew the movie. I remember really like liking some of the toys that came out at like Wendy's and stuff. I wasn't obviously alive when those were in like at like what were they, Burger King or Arby's or I can't remember what. It was some fast food chain.
There were toys at Wendy's when the movie came out.
Okay, Wendy's, and I think
Yeah.
maybe Burger King was the UK. They did.
Oh, okay.
I think I yeah. Well, anyway, I grew up with those toys as like just for fun too. So I liked the movie. It was never my favorite, but I always enjoyed it.
Nice. Yeah, that's interesting that I mean, I'm sure this is also true of other younger fans or fans who seem younger to Anthony and myself, but that being born after the movie came out, or after all of these movies came out, but still
Yeah.
preferring the earlier Jim Henson era stuff, like I guess you still kind of made the distinction between the
I
different
don't.
eras, or
Yeah. I don't know really why or how, but I don't know why, but yeah, I loved Muppet Show like unbelievably. Like I loved Crazy Harry, and Crazy Harry
huh?
he doesn't get anything in the movies really other than Muppet Movie.
Yeah,
Um,
right. He has a little bit in that one.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think maybe that would have been a little bit of what pulled me. I loved explosions, and you don't have a lot of explosions later on after Henson. Like you don't really have any in
That's
like
true.
Carol or Treasure. I mean, you have some, I guess, in Treasure, but not very many. And so I guess maybe that could have also led to it. But yeah, I I don't know. Yeah, I grew up on Muppet Show first, so that probably helped.
Huh.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Love
that's
that.
cool. And then our other question is, what is your favorite sci-fi movie or TV show or other thing?
So I was gonna ask, and you can feel free to say no, but does Dark Crystal count? Or would that be like would that be like too like I'm trying to kiss butt kind of a thing? Like,
Well, I'll say this. You're actually not the first one to say it.
Yeah.
Because
oh, okay, okay, okay.
was it Drake? Was it our friend Drake or Katie Lynn? It was a member of the Tough Pig staff.
It was somebody
It was
from the
Katie
Tough
Lynn.
Pig
It
staff.
was
I
Katie
think.
Lynn because Drake said those short stories. It was Katie Lynn.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yes.
Yeah, and who made the excellent point that it technically does take place on another planet.
Right,
So
exactly. So,
Yeah. I did grow up liking Dark Crystal. I didn't watch it until I was probably like in junior high, but obviously
that's the
I mean
right age for it.
yeah, I
yeah.
only got into it because of like obviously I watched a lot of documentaries that were available for Jim Henson and I saw but I was
Mm.
gonna say that, and if we didn't count that, or for some reason we didn't let that go through, I was gonna say Back to the Future, but I don't know. That's a little cliche, but I grew up loving that trilogy like a bunch.
Sure,
So
great movies,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
as we've discussed on this podcast many times.
Yeah.
No,
Very popular
I think either
choice.
one of those is perfectly fine answers. What? But I got to ask then, what did you think about Age of Resistance?
I loved it.
Yeah,
I will say I didn't really watch it right when it came out. I don't know what I was doing, if I was just busy or something or what. There was a time in my life where I kind of like growing up, I was bullied all the time for Muppets, and so I
Mm.
did a dip of my fandom for a little bit where I boxed everything up in my collection, put it in storage,
Oh.
and then I obviously went back into it full blown. But so I don't know if maybe that was during that time frame, but I do love it. I watched it after the fact, but I loved it. I wish it got another season, and I wish they would do a lot more with it because they did so much beautiful work, and the puppeteers on that production are unbelievably cool. And I went over to London for the con, the Dark Crystal convention over there, and the Great Conjunction. That was I was
yeah,
drawn
that's
from.
there it
Yeah.
is.
And I got a chance to meet a lot of those performers, and they're just so nice and just unbelievably cool people and very talented. So I that would have been awesome to have more of that. I would have loved it.
Yeah, agreed.
And like
Yeah.
same with like what they're doing with like Fraggle Rock, like Back to the Rock was amazing. And like I don't know. I think it was like the first time we're actually seeing like just the immense detail and production quality of like the Henson era like back. And I don't know. I really liked it. I wish they would have got more time and more seasons.
Yeah, I think
For
with both
sure.
of those, we were all kind of surprised, like, oh wow, they really put a lot of
Yeah.
time and effort and money into this, and
Yeah.
it really like, yeah, they really made it look good, and like it's yeah, they really put a lot of work into making it just as good. And I would say in the case of Age of Resistance, dare I say, better in many ways than the original.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Some of the,
I
yeah,
Yeah.
surely
yeah.
think so.
Yeah, it was a lot more of a clear story path.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, as we mentioned, the story of Muppets from Space is wrapping up, but this season of the podcast is not over. I repeat, not over. We still have two episodes that we are going to record, and they're going to be good ones.
They're gonna be
So
the greatest credits episodes we've ever done.
they're going to be so good. And then
Can't
we have
wait.
our super extra special bonus mailbag episode, which we have already recorded, so we can tell you that that is good. So keep an
That's
ear
right.
out
Yeah.
for all of that. Keep an eye on your podcast feed. The mailbag episode in which Anthony and myself answer questions from listeners. That episode hosted by the aforementioned Joe Hennes. As always, we want to thank Morgan Davy for our show's logo and Jordan Brandon for our theme song. Listeners, you can find Tough Pigs on the internet at toughpigs.com. We're all over social media as well as TeePublic and Patreon. You can email us at movingrightalong at toughpigs.com. You can chat with other Muppet nerds on the Tough Pigs Discord server. Anthony's on Blue Sky at Durwood Clapper. You can read what he has to say about Twin Peaks: The Return. I'm on Blue Sky at me Ryan Rowe. Anthony's on Letterbox at Zeppo Marxist. I'm on. Did I say that correctly?
You did. Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. Zeppo
I'm on
Marxist, yeah.
Letter. Yes, good. I'm on Letterbox at Movies Are Neat. And Rhett, thank you once again for joining us. This has been really fun.
thank you guys for having me.
And let us know, is there somewhere where you would like people to look for you online or your work
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever?
Instagram at Ribbit Rhett's Muppets is usually where I'm at. And
How do you spell that?
Ribbit, just like the word ribbit, and then Rhett is Rhetts, and then Muppets.
Oh, there you go. Okay, Rivet, Rats, Muppets. Cool. Oh, by the way, we didn't talk about your outfit, and listeners can't see it. Can you
Oh
describe what you're
yeah.
wearing?
So back when I went over to London for the Great Conjunction, I replicated Gonzo's outfit in Muppets from Space. Not because it's my favorite movie, but it is one of my favorite outfits on Gonzo. He wears it a
Sure.
lot after the movie too. So yeah, with the fabric swatches on eBay, I like kind of digitally edited them to replicate the outfit. I also did it to Kermit's pajamas. I have a set of Kermit's pajamas from the movie.
That rules.
And so yeah, I made the vest, the shirt, and then Emma Fruitbats, I think is her name on Instagram. She
Uh-huh.
she tie and did a great job on it, and yeah,
It
So
looks
you're,
real sharp.
yeah.
It's a great look for
yeah,
you. It
thank you.
really
So
Yeah,
is.
you're wearing
Yeah.
Gonzo's hot pink shirt with
orange, orange.
oh, is it orange? Okay. With
Yeah,
orange shirt with squares and then the vest with kind of different colored rings and then most importantly the tie with palm trees and a chicken wearing a lei and a hula skirt. More than one of our guests who has noticed the tie that Gonzo is wearing have just kind of independently decided that that's Camilla on the tie. So I guess, yeah, sure, why not? That's Camilla on the tie.
yeah, it
So,
makes sense. You get it. Everyone gets a tie after their lover. I mean, I have several over
yeah,
my fiance.
there you go.
Oh,
Um,
are you engaged, Trent? Congrats.
Yeah, I'm actually getting
oh,
married. I mean, as we record this, I'll be getting married in like 2 months. So.
Oh,
oh,
awesome.
wow.
Congrats.
Yeah,
What a thrill.
congratulations.
Thank you.
And you should wear that outfit to the wedding.
She would love that. I am wearing some Muppet things, related things, but not. So the ceremony, I'm in a green tux with like Kermit cufflinks and stuff, and then I do an outfit change, and then for the reception, I'm wearing like the lavender suit that Gonzo wears in like season 3 of the Muppet Show, and then for the exit of the reception, I'm wearing like the Muppet Show like burgundy suit.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so a little
Great.
extra, but
Yeah,
yeah, it should
we
be
had
fun.
we didn't go that far, but Raz and I had Gonzo and Camilla as our cake topper, the Palisades Gonzo and Camilla.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
our first dance was the first time it happens.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I wish my fiance let me have that be the first dance, but I'm letting her take that. I am getting my own Muppet
Sure.
cake though. And I'm doing something similar. I'm having Gonzo and I'm actually having like a custom body made and I'm gonna attach the head and arms and he's gonna match my green suit for the wedding and stuff. It'll be a lot, but
Awesome.
That's your cake topper?
for my Muppet cake. The official wedding cake will have like a very like normal or as I maybe as Muppet fans would say like weird cake like like
Ah,
doesn't have Muppets on it. But
okay.
Right. Sure. Sure.
Wow, cool.
Great.
Okay, yeah, so listeners, enjoy your wedding cake as well. And tell everyone you know when next time you're sitting on the roof of your house to listen to this podcast. And join us again next week for another episode of Moving Right Along. What a great day.
Yeah.